Hey, what's up? This is Skinny from Mushroomhead, and you are listening to Heresy Frequency.
Mushroomhead are a band that really need no lengthy introduction. With their avant garde presence bursting onto the nu metal scene some 30 years ago, they have long cemented their place as stayers in the world of heavy music, with no signs of slowing down. Their ninth studio album, Call the Devil, isn't far away, with a release date set for August 9th. Their drummer and founding member, Steve Skinny Felton, made some time for Heretic Frequency to have a chat about Call the Devil as well as discuss general Mushroomhead business. Let's jump into it right now.
Hello.
Hello. How are you
Hey,
going?
hey.
I can't see you yet.
Okay, yeah, hang on a second. I got a small mask I'm wearing today, and it's hard to see out of this one because it's not my one of my typical things. So,
I can't wait for the big reveal now.
oh, oh, it's no big deal. No big deal at all. I just can't see out of it.
That's all right. You don't need to see me. It's 8 o'clock in the morning here, so you don't need to see my
Well, good morning.
tired face anyway. Oh, God, you look like a spaceman. Good morning.
Good morning to you. I'm a fan of sci-fi, Daft Punk, all those things.
Yeah, that's super cool. You're kind of like a I don't know, a space age bowling ball. Looking at me right now is so cool.
Sure.
Well, welcome to Heretic Frequency. I'm stoked to have you here today. Can I clarify whether you prefer to be addressed as Skinny or Steve?
It depends on, who's asking and who's talking.
Yeah, this is why I
Yeah,
ask.
usually like when it's a bailiff or a sheriff, it's usually Steve or Mr. Felton. But you can call me Skinny. It's fine.
Hell yeah, okay. Never Steven, I assume.
That would be my father usually when I'm in trouble when I hear that.
Yeah. Well, fantastic. Thanks, Skinny. I'm Ez, and as I said, it's a pleasure to have you with me today.
Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate your time. So we are blessed with album number 9 on the way from Mushroomhead, and it is titled "Call the Devil." At this time of recording, it's about pretty much exactly a month away. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's coming quick. It seemed like it was going to take forever, but here we are, album number 9, coming
And then
quick.
when you have to go into promo mode, it's a whole different demon, really, isn't it? There's like the recording process, and then once that's out of the way, you feel like you can breathe a sigh of relief, and then no, you've got to hit promo mode.
Well, one of the things that we're blessed with, especially being such a DIY camp, is getting to bring it to life and having so much to do with the videos and the concepts and the costumes, the masks, the sets, and actually filming it and editing, and putting that stuff all together ourselves. So it's just one more step of the process that we truly enjoy. So, once the album's over, we really start having fun.
Yeah, awesome. That's really cool. And you guys put a lot of effort into your music videos as well. That must be fun to be so hands-on with that and not handball the job over to somebody else.
It's hard to wear a lot of hats, that's for sure. But
Oh yeah.
but we spread it around, and there's just a lot of love for the craft itself. There's a lot of passion in this camp, and it always has been. All that's why I think that's part of the longevity here, and all the people that have come and gone and that are still around. People just have passion for the craft, and they just have a desire to create and to be experimental and just kind of not be sure of where it's going. part of
Mm,
part of
mm.
part of the artistic, I think, journey is to be out of your safe zone. And that's how you develop, like, finding your roots and finding your actual style. And yeah, being experimental is kind of one of our things.
There's an element of letting go that a lot of people can't accept, but when you do, beautiful things happen, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we don't necessarily get together and write music to say, okay, this has to be the heaviest album of all time. We don't really, think that way every day. Sure, sometimes you're in a more aggressive mood and you want to write something heavy, but 3 weeks later, you could be a little more somber about something and, want to create or get that out of you. So,
Mm,
it's nice to have that variable with Mushroomhead and being experimental and having, just no rules, so to speak.
And your music has always been eclectic, and you can tell that you draw from different genres. What influences were particularly significant in shaping the sound of Call the Devil?
It's funny because the more things change, the more they stay the same. And when you listen to the album, you can hear a lot of our roots. A lot of the heavier stuff as far as like there's Sepultura influence, there's Faith No More influence. There's things that are kind of all over them. There's a lot of Pink Floyd moments, some Pantera-esque moments. I mean, there's a lot of, like I said, our roots that come out, and we don't necessarily aim to have certain songs sound that way. It's just part of who we are.
You are nailing the Mushroomhead sound, but still lacing that through, which is, I guess, what every artist's goal is, right? Because we can't deny our influences, but we also want to have our own sounds.
Absolutely, absolutely, and experimenting is kind of what gets you a little bit further as far as understanding what art is to you as an individual and as a musician, because it's
Yeah.
important to believe in what you're writing. And I mean, if you want to make songs that just are for sale, then you can do that. But we're a
Mm.
little bit more on the art end of it, and it's not necessarily for other people. We're just making stuff to get it out of us.
Yeah, I love that. Well, as the founding and consistent member of since the band's inception, how do you find keeping the band's vision and like sounding cohesive, especially amidst lots of member changes along the way?
It's strange how cohesive it actually is, and I think it's just because a lot of people share the same vision. When we're working so closely together, um, and somehow it always ends up fitting the brand, so to speak. A lot of times, I think of it, especially on my end, producing all these albums and doing it so long. I kind of think of it more of like a movie director versus like a heavy metal band, so to speak. Like say Quentin Tarantino, for instance, uses a lot of the same actors, a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
same crew, a lot of the same people to get all of that accomplished. Some people are in almost every movie. Some people are in it for a couple and then they come back. Some never come back. So I think if it's looked at a little bit more of
Mm.
Mushroomhead in that cinematic aspect, as far as you kind of know what you're going to get, but it's not necessarily ever going to be the same. So, I think it's more fun to look at that way instead of putting one brand on it only.
Yeah, I really like that. And I think that music fans, not just of the metal genre, but just music fans in general, like to clutch onto an idea that a band needs to stay the same from, when it's conceived to the very end. And when you put it, under the light of a movie director more than a music project. I mean, it's all art in the end, isn't it? But I really like that. And nothing can stay the same, especially not when you've been around for 30 years like you guys.
Right. Yeah. No, not much stays the same for, any band, especially, four guys. Let's face it, that whole mentality of the Beatles or even say Metallica, I mean, that is kind of old school, but it's where, I came from. So when we
Mm.
started doing this, I realized very quickly this wasn't your average band. So this was more of an entertainment outlet and an opportunity to do many things.
You spoke about bringing in, old characters and stuff like that too. You've worked with your mixing and mastering engineers. They're returning characters too, right?
Yes, absolutely. We had, constants throughout. A lot of people, came and went. On this album, Matt Wallace mixed it. And what was it, 20 years ago, he had mixed 13, the album 13, which ended up getting pretty popular
Mm.
as far as, a little bit of airplay. And there was some decent songs out for that one. But we became such good friends, uh, that we kept in touch throughout the years. And he ended up doing the one in 2020, which was A Wonderful Life, and then this one again. So uh, it is very much one of those things to where we find people that like we share that common bond with, and that we have that passion for the craft together. We share that. So once that locks in, it just truly becomes if everyone has the same schedule, if that's logistics and scheduling is really what it turns into. But everything came together for this one. I'm real happy about it.
And you teamed up with Napalm Records for A Wonderful Life, and that was in 2020. And that label's been around basically as long as Mushroomhead has as well. And you've maintained that relationship moving into this new record. In your opinion, what makes a good label, and what attracted you to work with Napalm?
They've been absolutely great. I feel, they're one of the people that have their whole organization is really has their finger on the pulse of, metal and everything that's current. Um, Another big thing was the opportunity to do more European touring for Mushroomhead. It had been quite some time since we had been over there. We took probably a 10-year break, 11-year break almost. And it just one thing leads into another. But yeah, they really, really have it together over there. And I'm proud to be with them. And like I said, we've been doing this a long time. We've been through quite a few different labels, and everyone over there is really cool, man. So far so good. And again, we're on our second record, and hopefully they're as happy as about it as we are.
The impression I get from Napalm is that they have grown themselves organically, never pushed anything and never forced anything, and I get a good vibe off anything that comes out of Napalm.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and let's face it, a lot of their product is killer as far as, they understand their artists, they get behind them, they make really cool vinyls, they understand packaging, they understand, how important video is as well. So I thought it was like the perfect home for Mushroomhead.
Amazing. So, is discovering new music important to you? I know as we get older, it can be easy to stop seeking new music and we stick with what we know. Like, how do you ensure that you personally continue consuming new music and find new influences? What's getting you excited right now?
It's strange, even older music, things that I may have overlooked in the past or heard once, and said, "Oh, I'm not really a fan." Like, I'll give you a perfect example, and it would be Tool. So yeah, obviously everyone early '90s or mid to late '90s, everyone's oh, Tool, Tool, and I was I understood, I liked it, and when Perfect Circle came out, I was like, oh man, this is amazing, like that was my version of what Maynard, and I was like, oh, this is great. And then I started listening to more Tool, and then I had never really ever listened to Pussifer. And I heard it and I was like, whatever. And this is, 10 years ago, 12 years ago. And there's an album called Money Shot. I listen to it every day. It's been about 3 months now. I can't get enough of it. It's like I just like I just was a different person, I guess. So, that's important to I think a lot of records do that. You listen to it once, and I don't know if I like it, I don't know if I like it, and then it grows on you really fast, or you find yourself singing it. So giving everything another chance is important, but sometimes just letting the the music channels or the streaming stations do their thing, where they spin off into subcategories, or if you're like, I don't even know, the album that you liked ended and something else just kept playing. That's kind of fun, getting turned on to things every now and again. uh But as far as like newer music
Mm.
and new artists, so my personal taste is all over the place. And currently, I think that the coolest thing or artist that I've been listening to is a girl called Chinchilla,
Yes.
out of the UK. Yeah, I think she's
Yeah,
fabulous.
she
I
rules.
think she's absolutely fabulous. And I just stumbled across her online.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. I love her stuff as well. And same thing, I think I come across her on TikTok. And yeah, I was like, what is this? I need to hear more. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm always kind of looking, but that's one that caught my eye and ear for sure. And as I went down the rabbit hole, she's got all kinds of cool stuff.
And don't worry, you're talking to the queen of hammering the same album for 3 months straight because I do that too. Like just squeeze every last bit of dopamine out of a record as I possibly can. But you're also talking to a person who's sitting here wearing a Hanson t-shirt right now. So we're kindred spirits here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a Haunted fan apparently too. In 2022, we shared a venue with them in the UK. We weren't playing with them. We were just playing in the same venue. We were on one side, they were on the other, and our buses were parked next to each other. And I actually met the drummer, and we exchanged pictures with I had my mask on and everything, and it was pretty funny.
Yeah,
I was like, what world does Hanson and Mushroomhead get the opportunity to take a picture? But we did, yeah. So I met those guys.
that's
Real
awesome.
nice fellas.
Two opposite ends of the spectrum, really. That's so cool.
Yeah, it was pretty funny that we ended up meeting in the UK. We're not that far from each other here in the States.
Speaking of the UK, you've got a European tour on the horizon, and the US gets a tour. Can us Australians expect to see you anytime soon?
I'm saying yes, please. Any promoters that are willing to take a chance on Mushroomhead, we're willing to come over anytime. So, obviously, with the new album in place, we're definitely trying to work on it, and get there as soon as possible. We haven't been there since
Mm.
2014. It's been 10 years. We were lucky to do a really fun run with the Soundwave in 2014, and haven't been back since. So, I would absolutely love to get there tomorrow if possible.
I would love to have you here tomorrow as well. I'll have my people talk to your people.
Please do. Thank you.
So this year marks 30 years of Mushroomhead. Looking back, what are some of your most significant milestones or like moments that stand out to you?
I have to say, when I think about this one a lot, and it's today, and it's almost tomorrow that I'm even more excited about.
Mm.
There's been so many, you know, amazing shows and amazing tours and amazing videos and work meeting people. But I think that like the biggest thing out of 30 years is knowing that I have the ability to do this tomorrow. I can do this today, like versus going, well, that was a great run, and looking at it like living in the past or something. And not that I don't appreciate, you know, plaques on the walls or, something, on the shelf, but it's the opportunity that it's brought in that I truly, truly
Mm.
feel very, just a lot of gratitude, after 30 years. It's like, wow, I get to do this for a living. Everyone's got their own definition of what a living is too, but either way, again, I'm very blessed for sticking it out for 30 years and still being able to do it. And the fact that, this masked heavy metal thing seems to be more popular than ever. So,
Yes.
maybe for once I'm doing something right, or yeah.
It just goes to show that sticking with something is worthwhile too. But I also kind of pick up that vibe because I feel like A Wonderful Life seemed to like almost represent a new. I mean, I know every album cycle for a band does sort of represent a new era, but there seemed to be something like really, I don't know, a bit more vibrant about A Wonderful Life. And because there's this wonderful blending of like brand new vibes, but you also had the comforting sort of feels of like returning contributions from some past members. And with that being the case, like how does all that flow into Call the Devil, and what sort of feels does this album have about it?
Well, this one, it probably it has a little more of a sinister vibe, probably a little more angst to it, just because of being a post-COVID type of thing. We didn't, there like I think you can listen to A Wonderful Life and hear a little bit of hope in it. And then, COVID comes out and it's like, it smashed all that hope for not just us, for a lot of people. And then you listen to the attitude of this one, like I said, it's a little more sinister. There's a little more angst. It's definitely a kind of a sign of the times of where it started, because when we started writing the record, the world wasn't even turned back on yet. We just kind of started dabbling. A few of us got in the studio and just press record. We didn't really have we didn't know if the world was going to come back on and, be right again. So we were just doing our thing.
I think we can all attach ourselves to that sentiment because I completely feel that heading into 2020 felt like we were about to conquer the world, like just humanity in general. And then all of a sudden it just got turned on its ass big time. So I can't wait to, I do have a copy of the album, but because I jumped on this interview at the last minute, I haven't had the time to sit down and listen to it. So I actually can't wait to hear it. And I thought, well, it's probably better that I don't before I talk to you anyway, because I don't want any preconceived notions.
Yeah,
So
I mean, like I said, it's probably, like I said, a little more, it's definitely dark and heavy and creepy.
all of my favorite things.
Yeah, and this one just has a little bit more of a sinister edge when you listen to everything. Like some of it's like almost kind of smart ass, and some of it's real fun, and then some of it's very dark and serious. So, it's a cinematic landscape. I can't wait to film more video.
Yeah, amazing. And theatrics are very obviously a big element of Mushroomhead. One of the things I am really curious about, though, is the water drums. Have you had any issues in smaller venues? Like, how do you prevent that from being like a hazard?
It's always an issue. It doesn't matter even if, the club is okay with it and the stage, hands are okay with it. There's just always something's always leaking, something always goes wrong. There's always a mess, but it's very exciting. I actually, it's one of my favorite things to do as far as to, get up there and play those, in the parts of the songs. And it is definitely like become one of the, major portions of the live show. People absolutely love it. We had no idea it was going to turn into that when we first, kind of came up with the idea, try to do something a little extra a little more for extra percussion on the stage. And it's somewhere between uh Mortal Kombat meets heavy metal blue man, I guess.
Do you have like a backup plan just in case things do go wrong?
Yeah, we always have, like, a lot of the crew, we all double, as far as, our own crew or some of the crew actually knows like all the songs, whether it's guitar or drums. So there's always a plan.
And you just stop, drop, and roll if someone catches fire.
No, we don't. Yeah, there's so much water. We usually don't worry. There's always extra water on hand, so we can put anything out in case there is a fire. Yeah, pyro guys don't like us too much.
Are they difficult to travel with?
Yes, they are kind of large. So actually, to be, straight up about that one, we actually have a whole nother set that we store in Germany currently. So when we go over there, we don't have to just ship the same ones back and forth because it kind of turns into a logistical nightmare. So hopefully, when we do Australia, we'll have enough time to ship ours over there.
Yeah, amazing. I would love to see that. What about the masks? Like, how do you decide on the evolution of your masks?
It changes from, album to album, sometimes even in between, just because we like to, actually sculpt and do all, fabricate and do all that kind of stuff right here in our in-house studio. So, um, when it's a new member, when it's like a new player, it truly becomes like a new character. So, we talk about other influences, other masks they may have liked, whether you get an influence from a movie or a video game, comic books, or something that the band already had in the past. Me in particular, the skinny mask, so to speak, uh, it over the years it kind of morphed and changed, but it always, for the most part, had the skull shape to it. So it's just like slight additions and slightly morphing some of the characters that are, from album to album. But a lot of times there's brand new characters that enter the play too. So it's just doing variations of it so we don't completely become a whole different look. Some of it we want to keep the same.
There's a comfort in continuity as well.
Yeah, part of it's the branding, and it's done purposely with the X face logo,
Mm.
inside each mask, and that keeps a little bit more of the, uniformity to everything. But we do like
Yes.
everyone being individuals as well.
For sure. Hey, look, I'm really conscious of your time, and I know you have more interviews lined up after me. So I guess we'll start to wrap it up. But if you're up for one last lighthearted question, I think that would be a nice way to conclude. So the new album is called Call the Devil. So let's say I've got the devil on the phone right now. What would you say to him?
Why is my phone bill so high?
And are you going to pay up?
Yeah, right, right. I already signed the document. Why do I got to pay again? I already sold my soul. What's the deal? Why is this all not working out? I thought we had a contract, dude. Uh, no.
Watch the conspiracy theories fly now.
Right, let them go. Have some fun. I'll get the popcorn and watch.
Yeah. You
Right.
heard it here on Heretic Frequency.
Well,
Skinny is part of the Illuminati.
I could be. This might not even be skinny. You guys don't know. So I got that going for me.
Could be talking to the devil himself right now.
Right? I couldn't find my Beyonce mask, so here I am. Oh yeah, yeah. Thank you. I truly appreciate your time. It was awesome. And seriously, thank you for all you do. If people like you, believe in, getting the word out there, and you love heavy metal, and so do we. So, again, we couldn't do what we do without people like you. So thank you so much for your time.
Oh, that means so much, man. Thank you so much.
Right on.
Call the Devil, the latest album by Mushroomhead, will be available worldwide on the 9th of August. In the meantime, get your fill of what's to come by spinning the newest singles, Fall in Line and Pre-Packaged. Thank you for spending time with me on another episode of Heretic Frequency. Until next time, keep life heavy, homies.